Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Zactivist. I'm really excited today to be able to come to you where we're going to talk to Representative Jasmine Crockett, who represents Texas's district in the House of Representatives, represents a portion of the state that includes areas in Dallas and Talent County. This is going to be a good time. She is currently interviewing with my very good friend, Kenny Walden, who we all know and love as Too Raw, Too Real. And as soon as that ends, she's going to jump on and she's going to come and we're going to have a chat here. We're going to talk about some things, including her confrontations with certain members of Congress and how they come at her, and then how she maintains her composure in her response. We're doing this, of course, to coincide with the commemoration of the life and legacy of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So if you're watching this from any of my social media platforms, you've probably seen the video that I dropped that talks about the real Dr. King and his legacy. And that was a legacy that included many things. And at the end of his life, this man had committed himself to class solidarity and what was known as the Poor People's Campaign. So if you haven't watched that video, please do so. I think it's really informative and I think that it's really good. A lot of the research for that video came from a book written by Tavis Smiley and called The Death of a King. And that is a great book, but it opened up my eyes a lot to information about Dr. King that I did not know, that I'm happy to share with all of you. And you see me kind of looking down. I'm looking down to watch when Representative Crockett jumps on. In addition to talking to her about her work in Congress and some of her recent confrontations with members of Congress, we're going to talk about the issue that led to that confrontation and get some words of advice from Representative Crockett about how this particular community and those of us who love members in that community or the community as a whole can move in the next 4 years under the Trump administration. I didn't watch today's inauguration. You should go back and watch some of because I caught the majority of Kenny's live with Representative Crockett. It was really good. And they talked about some of the things that happened today very briefly because neither of them watched it either. Representative Crockett said that she spent the day watching Black Panther and other films that, were uplifting to the Black community. Good entertainment. I didn't watch it either. My television was off, but turned to PBS. So I turned to PBS first thing this morning. And then when I say first thing, I'm saying like 2 a.m. before I went to bed and didn't turn the television back on. PBS supposedly is in the crosshairs of Donald Trump's work in terms of budget cutting with Doge and different things that he supposedly is going to do. Doge, of course, is the made up office of like government efficiency that was supposed to be spearheaded by Elon Musk, who we all saw. I saw in clips. Maybe some of you watched and saw in real life. I didn't see it in real life. I saw the clips of him throwing out a certain kind of salute that was absolutely abhorrent. And then also Vivek Ramaswamy, who is no longer going to be supposedly working with Doge or the administration as he is being pushed out or voluntarily leaving to run for governor of Ohio. We'll see how, of course, that bears out. So we're going to ask that, talk about that. We're also going to, once Representative Crockett joins, talk a little bit about our Black D9 organizations, that she is a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta. I am, of course, as you may know, a proud member of Iota Phi Theta. And we're going to talk to her about what our organizations have done and could be doing more of to increase civic engagement in our communities. This is an interactive experience. I don't know what platform that you may be watching from. As I look over, I see many people are here from Twitter. We see some people also who are coming directly from StreamYard. And so if you're watching from any of those platforms, also, we have some guests here from Facebook. Please log in and drop some comments, because the comments, of course, keep us moving and also allow you to engage with not only me, but also to engage with Representative Crockett. So we're going to check all of that out, and we'll have it to be where you can engage right along with us. Now Kenny is doing, and as his live is on Instagram Live. He went Instagram Live, and I should be on Instagram Live, but it looks as though it's not streaming at the moment. There could be, but it could be. I don't know. It's maybe not showing the number of viewers like it shows for the other platforms. Instagram is it does weird things sometimes. And the final question is really going to be, and we're going to talk about with Representative Crockett, her work with young voters. We know that she is one of the most, if not the most popular congresswoman in the United States House of Representatives with the young voters. And rightfully so. She's a young woman, but she's also extremely connected to the issues that young voters care about, talking about Gen Z, and then of course soon to be Gen Alpha once they are able to vote. So uh yep. So she just got a small DM saying on the way. Kenny has one more question. He's on the way, and she's on the way, but that's okay. We're ready. We have time, and I'm going to do all that I can to ensure that Congresswoman Crockett gets back on track with her schedule, and that she is able to meet her next interview commitment. We're really thankful to her and her office for being willing to talk to content creators. I think and I believe that this type of engagement is something that we need to see more of from more elected officials, because it puts them right in the forefront of the people, in my opinion. That is what I believe. And I hope that, I hope you agree. I hope that this interview, even though it's going to be brief, will be meaningful and will give you a level of understanding of our Congresswoman and kind of some encouragement for the work and the years ahead. There's a lot, people. There's a lot that we have to do, I believe, to continue to right this country. I didn't feel good about the salute that I saw clips of on social media. I'll be making a video about that and posting it on my YouTube. If you are watching, please write this down, people, because support is everything. Keeping the work going is everything. I'm not monetized on the X platform or Twitter. Like, I'm calling it what it is. Okay. This is Twitter. And I see many of you are watching there. I am not monetized on that platform. I get nothing for that except hate speech and bullying and the opportunity to engage, of course, with a few very special people that I have come to care about a great deal and that I call my friends. So I'm thankful for you guys. I'm thankful for that network, but we are targets, and you know that we are being targeted. We are being mistreated on that platform. We are being hit hard on that platform. Please, if you do not follow my YouTube, follow the YouTube. Follow the YouTube. You can just simply type in Google 3+1 Media ZK, 3+1 Media ZK, or the Zactivist and TPO, either one. And I come right up. Follow that account. I also have a Substack called The Colored Section. And it's called The Colored Section because it's about reclaiming our identity and creating a space for all of us that's out there. And it focuses on news that mainstream media is not communicating and not caring about, news for Black, brown, and queer communities. It's called The Color Section. It's written, and there are videos there as well. I've been updating it on a regular basis. It's some good stuff on that. So if you're watching from Twitter, you've noticed that I've posted less videos on Twitter, but I'm still making the same volume of videos. The volume of videos that I am making has not decreased. It's just that since that platform has chosen to now say that they're going to use our likeness in their AI modeling, I'm not willing to put as many videos on there. I'm only making a video when it's something that is essential to post, like when people on that platform attacked my good friend, the young man Noah, our nephew, our Democratic nephew. That was, to me, a line too far to cross, and so that's why I made that video. So please follow the YouTube. Support the YouTube, like videos, comment videos, share videos if they resonate with you. And if they don't resonate with you, let me know what's wrong with the video. Let me know what's not great about it so I can then go back and make it a great video. That is the type of support that I'm asking for. No money needed, no donations needed, just simply following and giving me the feedback that I can use to make the work that I do even better every single day. Hopefully you caught the DNC forum that was held by Chorus Newsroom. I was one of the 4 hosts of that event. It was a great opportunity, a great time that we had, some really good questions. That's also posted on the YouTube under the live tab, but I'm also going to go and post some major clips from that on that YouTube and onto the Substack. So we're waiting for a moment. Are there any questions that you want to hear for Representative Crockett? Now, I do have some fun stuff because I know this is a fun crowd, and she's a very fun woman. She's an Aries, okay? Representative Crockett is an Aries. She's a Delta Sigma Theta member, a devastating diva of DST. This woman is a lot of fun. And so I have a few fun questions that I'm going to ask because I want to always get to things that other people are probably not going to get to. And so if you have some questions that you really want to ask, I want you to drop the notes here in the comments. Thus far, 0 comments have been shared, but it could be that if you're on the Twitter platform, your comments aren't showing up. I don't know that. We just got a message in from Representative Crockett, and so she is still. It says she is still answering Kenny's last question, but she's coming, and she's coming. Hopefully, I am doing well enough to keep you here with me by just simply giving you the things that I know of that has been happening. And so I'm not going to tell you, of course, to follow me on the Clock app. Now I'm there as the Zactivist, but I don't. One, we don't know how long that app is going to last, so we think it will be, but we definitely think, for the most part, after yesterday, after its magic Thanos return, Thanos snapped, it went away. Thanos snapped again, it came back. I firmly believe that it came back totally different. This seems like a tether. It seems like something off, something a little bit different. This is not the same app. So I'm not telling you necessarily follow me there, although I may post there still. I'm excited to see more clips of this inauguration and see what you, my friends, have said about it. See some of your commentary after this, and I'll be digging in to create like my overall thoughts about it to make into here a video. One thing that I've done this year is I'm posting 3 to 4 times per week onto the YouTube, where I'm doing like news coverage, like deeper news coverage, and covering the things like, again, our D9 Founders Days and recognizing them and what they've done, and giving perspective of the confirmation hearings that we saw last week, but giving them from, again, a Black, brown, queer perspective for us, and then those who love us, for those who are our real allies, not allies who we thought may have been allies, but aren't allies, like maybe Carrie Underwood, who I heard had a really bad day today in terms of singing. But again, karma is real. God is always in control. That's what it means, people. If you've always wondered, what does that mean? God is still in control. That's what it means. It means that you're going to sing at this inauguration, and that's your choice. That's free will. But the music's not going to play. And that's where God steps in. You're going to go up here to this Capitol where you tried to destroy with an insurrection 4 years previously. You tried to destroy that, disrupt an inauguration, make sure an inauguration didn't happen because of an insurrection. That's free will, your human choice, but God's in control when he sends the Arctic blast that sends you inside, or sends the billionaires inside, and you have to sit out in the cold or go home prematurely, or maybe not even get to go home because now your flights have been canceled because of the Arctic blast that God sent as he's in control. So we'll see. I'm excited to see that. While we're still waiting, I know she's on her way. I want to also recommend a book that I'm also reading and digesting on our Substack called We Refuse. Write it down, people. That's a good one. It's a great book. I told you earlier in the book, Death of a King by Tavis Smiley. But I previously read it. It's always great when people read a book with you. And I'm reading the book, We Refuse. And it is about how Black people, and throughout the course of American history, have sometimes refused. They have dissented. They have not done. They have not complied. And what happens? And yeah, sometimes we know what happens when you refuse, when you don't comply. Sometimes it results in the loss of your earthly life. But in this book, there's situations and stories of actual achievement and triumph. Many people of all races and all backgrounds are considering what will happen if we simply refuse. What's going to happen if we simply don't do what is being asked of us or being mandated of us by an authoritarian regime? What happens? Well, this book gives me some insight into it, and I've fallen in love with it. And I would love for you to read it along with me, and then engage with me in the Substack as we talk about it in the weeks ahead. So we're on the way. I'm still waiting for a comment. I see you out there. We have 58 viewers following and watching on the Twitter, and then also on the YouTube and on the Facebook, as we're waiting for Representative Crockett to join in. Now, I told her people, I said, look, I'm going to get her back on track, because Zach Kirk is like the consummate professional. Okay. When you do something, it's going to be just right. And I'm like, I'm going to get her back on time, get her back on track. But I know what time her next interview starts. I'm not going to overdo, but I'm definitely going to get my allotted time, because we got some good stuff. We got some good questions that I think the people are going to want to know. Again, we're going to talk to her about her confrontation with members of Congress, specifically Nancy Mace of South Carolina. We're going to talk to her about young voters and words of advice for them and their value as you look towards the 2028 and the other elections that are coming, as well as our Black Greek-led organizations. Those 3 are the main points, and a few fun questions to wrap up and conclude. And again, if there's a question out there that you have, we encourage you to also drop that question in the comment section. We also encourage you to drop that question in the comment section. Also, again, one final plug to follow the YouTube 3+1 Media ZK. 3+1 Media ZK. It is how you can stay connected with me, and you can also support me in my work. If you're watching on the Twitter, you can go right now over to the YouTube to be able to watch along and also log in and give commentary. And she is now she is coming. She's on her way. She has now ended the live, and she is transitioning over to this, where she's gonna like click the button and pop right into the StreamYard, so she can be with us on, of course, all of our platforms. And of course, also the Substack, where there's a really great written commentary. It's called The Color Section. Again, I'm actually creating more content, more videos this year than I've ever created. I've already created more videos for January than I created all of last year, but I'm just simply not putting them onto the Twitter, putting them onto the Instagram, YouTube, and also putting them onto the Substack. That's where they're going because of the, and we're going to bring her up. I think she's ready. We're ready. Yeah, we're going to bring her up. Well, that's what I'm talking about.
All right. I'll switch it.
How are you, love?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm good. It's so great to see you today and to be. I was able to catch you a little bit with Kenny. I am going to get you like in and out so that you can be right on time for your next commitment. But it is, again, great to see you. Thank you so much, Representative Crockett, for all that you have done for the Democratic Party, for the Black community, and of course, for the people of your district. One thing that we have seen recently that has really put you back in the headlines has been your confrontation, or rather the way that Representative Nancy Mace of South Carolina confronted you. And in that confrontation, she said that she wanted to take it outside. What did you think in that moment?
They never cease to amaze me with how ghetto and thug life they are, even in the chambers. But I also have been a Black woman my entire life. So I know that regardless of the fact that we technically have the same rank, she still enjoys a privilege that I don't. And that means that people would be paying more attention to how I responded than what she did. And so I couldn't say, all right, let's go outside. Like I wasn't allowed to do that. It would have then come back on me. I would have been this angry Black woman, and it would have been, they still, say what they want to say about me, but it's always that Black folk in general, that our behaviors and the way that we carry ourselves are always the ones that are under a microscope, and they tend to be the only ones where we tend to be the only ones that actually get judged. So I knew what it was about. I didn't imagine that she would do that, but I knew that I would have to make sure that I clap back and clap back harder once I actually got out of the chamber. And so some hours later, when I finally had time, when I was done doing my official duties, I went on social media and made sure I responded in a way that she couldn't really come back from. But I will say, thank God for the people, because before I could even get online,
We got your back.
was already dragging her. It was like, we'll meet you outside. Like, the rep ain't got to show up. We got you. And to the extent that she had to turn her comments off.
What would have happened had she caught you outside? Like, do you think that Representative Mace could best you?
No.
She's
half my size.
She's
and some people are like, oh, she's military.
Thin.
I'm like, yeah, so that just means that she needs a gun. But I'm licensed to carry as well, so
she might be a little top heavy in one particular part, but them legs, I saw them legs.
No,
and I'm like, there's no way. She needs to be cowering in fear from Representative Crockett.
Yeah.
What undergirded this exchange was rights for men and women, boys and girls who happen to be trans. And of every community in this country that is currently living in fear of what the new Elon Musk administration with Dowager President Trump will do, this community is like horrified. is there anything that you can say to our men and women who happen to be trans, our boys and girls who are growing up who happen to be trans, to the people that love them, that you could give any words of advice or any words of wisdom or even words of encouragement you could give to them right now?
So one of the things that I'll say is that expect that the attacks will come and they will come continuously. But it is important to make sure that you're tapping into community. That's number one. Number two, it's also really important to not get caught up with the loudest voices because, yeah, you will hear from the Nancy Maces of the world, and she's decided that this is her only like mission for this term is to go after the trans community, but we literally have our first trans member of Congress. I mean, do you really think that even if nobody else was going to fight, do you really think that Sarah
The
McBride would
gentlewoman
sit
from what,
there?
Delaware, right? She's from Delaware.
Yes, yes.
Sarah Martin,
McBride.
yes,
McBride. Do you really
Representative
think that she's
McBride.
going to sit by idly? Like, this is someone who doesn't have to talk about what could or couldn't happen to trans folk. This is somebody that's living this. This is somebody who is literally being put into a hostile work environment and being bullied by a whole other member of Congress. I mean, and so just know that like beyond having like a champion there, like you have someone that has experienced and walked in your shoes. And she's going to be there to fight your fights and to tell her truth. While at the same time, you have people like me that will always stand for the civil rights and civil liberties of all people. And in fact, that is what was so triggering to her is that I had the audacity to try to reintroduce the Civil Rights Subcommittee. I did not, and the only people that I actually singled out were Black folk. They were the only one. I was like, I know y'all think that if I say civil rights, it just means Black people. So let me just read y'all the definition. And so that's what I did. And then her response was, no, you hate women and we're the champions for women. And that's why you support trans folk and that kind of stuff. But since I know that this is where she's going to be going, and since I know that like there are those that are confused and concerned because there's been all this rhetoric about boys and girls locker rooms and that kind of stuff and just all kinds of ridiculousness that they're talking about, I think that it's going to be incumbent upon people like me to really make sure that in some of those moments that I do some education. And it's not just for the right, it's for everybody, because we even have Democrats that are falling off and getting caught up in the sauce too. And so, I am charging my staff with making sure that I can say things like, and making sure that I can even have illustrations just available. Because now I know no matter what, even if it's not a hearing on trans folk gonna come up. Just making sure that I've got the numbers. Like,
One,
how many trans people do we actually have in the country? How many trans people are actually like playing sports? Like, how much time have we spent? How much money has it cost us in the Congress to go on the tangents about trans folk? And, how many people does this really impact? Right? Because people don't know. There have been people that literally are like I never go into details about one of my constituents, and I never kind of hold her out, but
I
she is a
remember the story from when you came to Atlanta. This tells. I mean, that's a great
but
story. I mean,
well,
it's
I'm not gonna
powerful.
talk about that, but I'm just saying that I literally have a trans girl that I represented in the house when I was in the state house, and really besides her, like her entire family, they are my family. Like, they have been to every swearing in that I've ever had. They are literally and truly my family. They were just asking me because the youngest girl is like, what kind of birthday cake do you want this year? Because she bakes my birthday cakes and they're already planning for that, which my birthday is at the end of March. Like,
Aries.
yes, they are legitimately my family. But I remember, I don't know if it was a picture that was posted or something like that. And one of my friends was like, well, who's trans? And I was like, and that's my point. Like, the reality is that they put out there this image of, it's just a man that decided to put on a dress today, and I'm like, that's not what it is to be trans, guys. That's not what it is, right? But so many people, whether they're Democrats, Republicans, or independents, have no idea. And so, I really do want to work with HRC. Kelly is an amazing
Yes.
leader. And I really want, I don't want people to be paraded, but I really want people to start to better understand like what it means to be trans. And I just want the education. I think with the education, people will back off a little bit and not be so um fearful or enraged by the idea. And every time I think about trans folk, I think about how, I didn't experience it, and I'm sure some people probably still feel this way, but how they treated black folk, right? Like black folk couldn't use the same bathroom because I guess,
It's the same playbook. It's
it
the
was no,
same playbook.
we couldn't use the water fountains. We couldn't play the sports because something was inherently different about us, and it was like we were leopards. And I feel as if that's what we're experiencing with the trans community now, and I think that is why I am so disheartened by it, because I know the history that they don't want people to know in this country, but I know the history of it, and it took some time, but also, it was a lot more black folk than trans folk in this country.
And
So I'm like,
what
how much money we gonna spend on this? Like, I mean, if we're gonna be fiscally
for less than
responsible,
1% of the United States
yeah,
population, trying to oppress and hurt 1%, less than
yeah,
1%, and that huge amount of money. And
yeah,
speaking of money, you said HRC, Human Rights Campaign. In this whole confrontation, you said a lot of it dealt with Representative Mace wanting to shore up her coffers, get coins in the purse,
mhm,
because which you have more money fundraised than her, significantly more, but you still need more. So I want to
yes,
say to everyone
if
watching, look, you need to donate to Representative, because many people, no, I don't know if any of you people on these lives you're doing will say that, but I will say it because I know how this game is played, how dirty it can be, and how if you don't have the funding, they can target you. There's no way that Representative Crockett
yeah,
isn't going to be targeted. Okay, people, look, she is fighting a hard fight. She is like, again, she just mentioned that there are Democrats who are either who are silencing themselves, who are willfully complying to the authoritarianism our country faces, or those who are going over to play that game in a different way, and they may not be Democrats for long. I won't say any names. I won't say any names of your colleagues. I won't say any names of people in the Senate, but we know who they are. We know that they are out there, okay? So she is willing to stand up to make this fight. She needs funding and donations in her campaign war chest for what she is going to face in the next 2 years, as does the HRC and as does the ACLU. Now, you said that, your constituent was making this cake. What flavor? What kind of cake we getting?
So right now they're talking about strawberry. But I was like, girl, whatever you want to make. But I mean, literally, this is like my baby girl is in elementary school. And she, it was funny because um she really wanted me to come to her school. Like this was like, so I went to the school, and the school ain't in my district, y'all. And clearly it's a bunch of little kids, so they can't vote, right? And I'm like, this is why I'm such a bad politician, right? But I love the kids. Like I love, like if I didn't have to talk to adults, I would be very happy. So like, so I went, and the principal had her introduce me, and this kid made me cry, and I was just like, oh my god. And I'm always calling her my little Madam President, because she is so politically engaged because of all that she's seen her sister go through. And she started testifying when she was just an itty bitty girl. Her sister started testifying at the age of 6. And so, it's just like, it's a breath of fresh air when I think about generations that are her age, and being able to be a bright light for she and her friends and her siblings. And so, we teach hate. And I truly believe that every child is born with nothing but love in their heart. And so, again, while it may not be the best way to get votes, and it's definitely not a great way to fundraise, I just can't really imagine not focusing on and prioritizing our next generations, because everything that I do is for future generations. I tell them all the time when I go in that half my life has passed me by, regardless of what y'all think when you look at me. Um, and I tell them that I do this for them. And so you're right, fundraising is a big part of it. I do like to be completely transparent with all the money and what happens. We actually have to pay dues in the Democratic caucus, so we kind of basically like stockpile our money to give it away for those that are in tougher races. So even if I get into a fight, my fight is in my primary, which somebody did say that he was going to run against me, and this started less than 2 weeks after the election. Somebody announced that they were running against me. I'm also in my fourth litigation case because I have somebody who's mentally ill that keeps filing lawsuits on me because he can't beat me. So I mean, I beat the brakes off of him. So I'm like, sir, sir, best numbers in the whole state of any challenge member of Congress, Democrat or Republican. Please go take several seats and stop messing with me and my money. Um,
Because you
but
don't
we
have
give
time for
money.
that. You do a big
No,
work. We don't need you
no,
distracted. So we
no.
gotta put in the donation to ensure that that's not something that you have to worry about. I'm wrapping up. Chloe is now gonna get mad at me. Let me tell you something. When you stay too long and you invited a guest in, you go guest in someone's house, because this is, of course, your house, Representative Crockett. You don't get invited back. These are real quick questions to wrap it up, because these are things that people want to know. They want to know: sugar or salt on grits?
Sugar.
Corn? Does your cornbread mix come out of the box or the bag?
Mine that I make, it come out the box. Y'all can hate on me all you want to, but I'm a jiffy girl. I put some extra stuff in it, but I'm a jiffy girl.
Favorite cocktail?
French 75.
Favorite wine?
It's gonna be a cab or a red blend.
One black-owned business or restaurant that you love, that you can't just you can't recommend them more enough.
I'm gonna have to go with my homie spot, and that's Kitchen and Cocktails, by Kevin Kelly. And so Kitchen and
Ah,
Cocktails
we
is
got one in
located
Atlanta.
Atlanta, DC, North Carolina, Dallas. It is, I don't know of another black
Yeah,
food chain.
that's crazy. I just found out my a college classmate who is a councilman in DC, Juan McCullum, came to Atlanta this weekend. He went to Kitchen Cocktails. He's been raving about it. I'm going next weekend. So I'm gonna give him a good review. Well, I'm gonna give him a full review. We'll see if it's good or not. The last question is one black-owned product that you would recommend this audience check out.
Black owned product. Oh, that's a good one. I know that we don't really talk about it very much, but we all need sunscreen. I know y'all be believing that we can't get burnt, but we can. I experienced it when I was campaigning for the state house, but also just trying to make sure that we continue to stay looking youthful. And so there is a black owned
Black girl sunscreen.
yes. So that, and then my other one would be Black Girl Magic for the wine.
Love it, love it, love it. Representative Crockett, thank you so much. Happy belated Founders Day to you and all of the ladies
Thank
of Delta
you.
Sigma Theta, but also, of course, our ladies who celebrated with AKA, Zeta Phi Beta, the men of Phi Beta Sigma, all having had Founders Day last week. So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you, and I can't wait to engage with you again.
Bye.
And everybody, she is off to another live. I'm not sure which content creator has her next, but again, I want to thank her and her entire team for joining. And I also want to thank all of you. This interview is going to be chopped down and put on the YouTube in its shortened form, where the part where, of course, Representative Crockett came in and joined. Thank you so much, Lit and more. And there were some questions that we didn't have a chance to get to that were asked, but because I didn't want to take or veer too far off of the questions that I gave her, because she has such a rigorous schedule. She's volunteered to talk to so many content creators. And so I definitely, and she was already a little behind. So not because of her, but because of just how things flow with technology and just different things. So I wanted her to get to her, I think 450, 455 was her next one, but she was a little behind. So hopefully they'll, again, all kind of work together to get her back on track. I love Representative Crockett, and I just can't emphasize to everyone enough before I call it a wrap it up, is this: we have got to protect her. Somebody had made a post about Chrisette Michele performing at the first inauguration and how we have to protect Black women and now support Chrisette. Now, listen, protecting Black women is not coming behind them and offering a whole new level of support after they've done something that was like in opposition to community. But protecting Black women is ensuring that Representative Crockett has what she needs to be successful in her seat and whatever is necessary, whatever comes next for her, which I hope a lot will in her political career. So this isn't going to be done by simple, just I'm great and can do it, because you know how the machine works against candidates like Representative Crockett. She is making a bold choice to be outspoken against the current leadership that started today and against people like Representative Mace and Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, and people who are saying and doing things that are garnering them big attention, garnering them large platforms, and garnering them huge sums of money from deplorable people. And so we have to see what we can do to match that level of fundraising for her, and also for organizations like the Human Rights Campaign and the ACLU, because they're the ones who are going to be on the front line of protecting our brothers and sisters who happen to be trans and protecting the civil and human rights of Black, brown, and queer communities. That's what they do. And they also won't be able to do it if they don't have funding. We have some hard work ahead. I won't say dark days, but they might be dark days. They might be dark days. And if they're not dark days, I'll give all credit to where credit is due. But if they are, I want all of us to be ready, and I want us all to take notice and note. With that being said, thank you so much, so much, so much for taking a very brief amount of time out of your day to join me. If you have not already followed me on YouTube, that is where it matters the most. Please do so. It is 3+1 Media ZK. That name will be changed to the Zactivist soon, but right now it is 3+1 Media ZK. Please follow, like, and subscribe. Any of the content you will be getting at least 3 new videos per week, many times more, as I'm doubling down on that platform for content. With that being said, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you soon. Be well, be blessed, and whatever you do, keep pushing.